Hey everyone, Dr. Borlatte here. I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to complete the argument essay and how to follow your outline when you do so. I'm using one of your fellow students' outline as an example for this tutorial, just so you could see how it applies to everybody. It applies to Landry, since I'm using her uh, outline, and this will also apply to your work, to your essay. So notice that the outline that I've got here as an example is really similar to the one that I have created for you, and it starts with the student heading in the upper left-hand corner, single-spaced, a place here for your title of the essay, which I kind of want something kind of creative, your original question, and then where your thesis is going to be. Now, I don't know which way Landry is leaning, so I mean, she could very well say Roe v. Wade should be overturned, or she could say that Roe v. Wade should not be overturned. So it's going to be her choice, obviously. She just gets rid of whichever applies. Then what I've done for each of you is I've tried to give you ideas of what to use for your subtopics. Now, I have not done any research on any of the topics that you guys have submitted to me, and I've not done any research on Roe v. Wade. I have my opinions on Roe v. Wade, but I do not include them in this example. But what I've done here is color code in red your subtopics. And the subtopics are 1, 2, and 3. And this is going to be in the form of questions. So here's your overarching question right here. You take that main question and divide it into 3 sub-questions. In other words, if you and I were to sit down and discuss this issue, what are the 3 areas of debate that you and I would have? Now, I just put these in here in your example outlines just to give you an idea of where you could go. You don't have to use these. Please make sure they're in the form of a yes or no question. Okay, and believe me, I have discovered that it makes life really easy for you if you stick with yes or no questions. And what I've done for each of your outlines, I've done exactly that. I did it here for Landry. I did it for all you guys too. I also included a note on all your outlines that you can use these if you want. Just look at the outline I sent back to you, and you can see that note. Your A and your B, you have no choice. These are the words that you will be using. A is blue, it's your opposition stance. B is rebuttal, it's in green. This is you. Okay, if you and I were discussing this, this would be me, this would be you. Keep this in color coding. Okay, you got subtopic, detail A, detail B. The words introduction and conclusion just appear on the outline as placeholders. No paragraphs appear on the outline. Do not write any paragraphs on the outline. This is just a skeleton. This color coding of the outline is going to be expanded when you get down to the essay. And I've given you guys a template. Here are the instructions for the intro. Use your intro as an opportunity to give me any background necessary for me to understand this problem and why this problem exists, why this question exists, why this question is a big deal, why this topic is a big deal, why do people question this or argue about this. The last sentence of the intro should be your thesis. Now, notice when you start talking about your subtopics, use the exact same wording from the outline. This is your subtopic sentence. It begins the subtopic paragraph. This is subtopic paragraph 1A. Okay, so you start with your subtopic sentence, including the exact same wording from the outline. Notice it is red. The very next sentence, you introduce your opponents, your opposition. You have to have a sentence like this. Example, the first argument asks, when is the clinical definition of life? There are many opponents of abortion who believe that life begins at conception. Whatever. Okay, but you need this word here to indicate you are talking about your opposition. Then after that, continue to discuss this issue, their side of the issue. 5 to 6 sentences. You are required to have at least one in-text citation from an opposition source. And I've just given you a reminder here of what an in-text citation could look like. It can go anywhere in the paragraph. It does not have to be the last sentence. You will indent at B. You will indent at B, your rebuttal side. Rebuttal means your answer. Rebuttal means you are going to address any issues brought up here in the blue, down here in the green. This is you. Okay? You and people who advocate with you. This is a transition. I'm giving it to you. Please use it. Use this word. If you can think of anything better, that's fine. But I'm giving you a transition which is required when you move on to the green, when you move on to B. On the contrary, many advocates feel that life does not begin at conception. Blah, 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 blah. Citation. And then the pattern repeats. When you move on to 2, Roman numeral 2, when you move on to Roman numeral 2, you start with a transition, and there are many to choose from. I use the word next. You could say the second. You could say also. You could say in addition. But you will begin with a transition. And then, once again, you repeat the subtopic question. In this case, should the right to abortion be determined by religious beliefs? The opponents to Roe v. Wade think probably it should be determined by religious beliefs. Once again, it's up to Landry what she wants to use here. And it's up to you what you guys want to use. This is just for example purposes. Okay, moving back down here. This is what the opponents think. Discuss in 5 or 6 more sentences. In-text citation, don't forget. When you move on to your rebuttal, indent, give me a transition, and the process repeats. When you come down again to the third subtopic, here's a nice transition. Here is your subtopic. Once again, start with the opponents. At least one in-text citation. Transition to green, transition to B. You're off to the races. Now, in the event that you have any place in the essay a quote that is longer than 4 lines typed, you have to block quote this. Okay? And all it is tabbed over twice. Here is the regular paragraph indent. A block quote is tabbed over twice. Okay? Notice that this is the only time that the period does not go after the parenthetical citation. And a block quote, it goes right there. You are not required to use a block quote. Only if it's 4 lines typed or more. When I look at your first draft, if I see something that needs a block quote and you didn't do it, I'll be glad to format it for you. Then the next thing that I did was I created your works cited page for you based on the sources you gave me in your lit review. And I put them in alphabetical order. Now, you're required to have anywhere between 4 and 6 sources for this essay. One of these sources has got to be an opposing viewpoint source. It's got to be your opposition. Remember that the second, third, and fourth lines of a source are indented on the works cited page. I've added a made-up source here as an example. Landry, I made this up. Don't go looking for this. All right, I made this source up just for example purposes. So this line here, I'm going to show you if you have trouble indenting. This line here should be indented. It's the second line. I'm going to hit the tab key and nothing moves. I'm going to hit Control Tab and nothing moves. So here is how you fix this. If you're tabbing over or if you're Control tabbing over and nothing's moving, here's how you fix it. I'm in Word, Microsoft Word. You have to be in the view. You have to be in view, all right? And you have to be in the ruler view, right there, ruler. And that'll give you this over here and this over here, the ruler on the top and on the side. Be in the ruler view. And if this line isn't moving over, you come up here on the top ruler and you move this little diamond doohickey over the bottom one, and notice it moved everything over, but then you go back and just move this back over there. Okay, let me show you that again. I'm in the ruler view. Click on view, click on ruler. I'm going to try to tab this over. Not happening. I'm going to grab the bottom diamond. It moves everything over. Just move the top diamond back and you're good to go. Okay, so here's the deal. For week 3, all that's required for you to get points is to give me this outline. If you want to attempt to write the first draft of your essay, you've got a template that'll get you started. Okay? The first draft of the essay is not due until week 4, but you can get extra credit points by submitting early. Here's something else. I've discovered that I'm going to start putting my deadlines on Sunday night at 10 o'clock p.m. instead of 8 o'clock Monday morning. I just need to, with the changes with Canvas, I need that extra time to create my week's lessons and things like that, and I'll do those on Monday morning as soon as I can. So from now on, or at least until further notice, your assignments will be due Sunday night at 10 o'clock. If you got any questions or problems, email me please or contact me through Canvas. Either way. Thanks.